Now, let's test the transaction we created in the previous steps. To do so, we'll have GeneXus build the application, create the database, and do everything necessary to get the programs ready to be run and tested. This test cycle that developers undertake before the application is ready is called prototyping. The full version of GeneXus allows prototyping an application locally. That is to say, the programs and the database will be hosted on our network servers, and also in a cloud that is available to GeneXus users. In addition, we can prototype in any of the programming languages supported. However, in the specialized version for SAP systems, the database will be SAP HANA, the language will be Java, and the prototyping tasks will be done in the Tomcat server that is available to us. In our demo, it'll be a local one. To set the necessary information in the HANA database and the web server, we must select the Preferences tab or press F5. We will use this function key frequently because it allows us to generate all the objects required as well as compile and run the main object. Because it's the first time we press F5, this window is opened to ask us for the server and database details. One way to build applications that use SAP HANA database is to do it through the cloud platform available from SAP called SAP Cloud Platform. For trial purposes, we can create a free account at hcp.sap.com. Here we register with our email account. If we already have an account, we log into it. And we can see the user is identified with an ID, and that the account name is made of that user ID and the word trial. The trial version manages a multi-tenant database container. For each account, a single database will be created within that container. To do so, we select the option Databases and Schemas. We create the database for our travel agency application. We must give it a name, Database ID. By default, a system user will be created. It'll be an administrator user, and we will use it to prototype our application. Also, we need to enter a password for this database user. It must have 15 characters or more. After saving, the database creation process will begin and will last a few minutes. When it's done, by selecting Overview, we will see that the database is initialized and running, and that it will be frozen at the time indicated. When this time has elapsed, we will have to start it in order to use it. We open SAP HANA Cockpit to create the system administrator user. These administration tools will be displayed. Among them, the possibility to create new users and roles. In order to create through JDBC to this database that we've just created, we must open a tunnel. To do so, we need the SAP Cloud Platform SDK corresponding to the Java Web Tomcat version that we're using. It can be downloaded from here. We have the Tomcat 8, so we download this one from here. There you'll find everything necessary to build applications on the SAP Cloud Platform, such as libraries required for compiling SAP Cloud Platform applications, documentation, examples, tools to use via command lines, and so on. We need to open a command prompt console over the Tools folder, and then use the command. Where user and account are those we've seen before, corresponding to our user in the cockpit. So, we replace those values in the command. In this case, in which we're using the trial version, the host is hannatrial.ondemand.com. The password is that of our account that we used to log into the website. The ID schema is that of the database we've just created, Travel Agency DB. Note that the tunnel has been opened as a result of the command execution. It'll remain open for 24 hours unless we explicitly close it before that. So, when we go back to GeneXus, the server name will be localhost because it's the host name value that we're given when the tunnel is opened. The user will be system. The password will be the one we entered for that user when creating the database in the SAP Cloud Platform trial a few minutes ago. The database schema is identified with the same name as the user, system. If now we press on Finish, GeneXus will build the application from a developer menu to try all the objects created with no need to program the invocation. Let's click on Cancel. In the Preferences tab, we see that the information we've just entered has already been configured in the corresponding properties. So, if we open the data store's information, we see that we have the default option, SAP HANA, and if we enable the Properties window by pressing F4, or over here on the right, they're right here. The only thing left to do to run this developer menu is to press F5. The output window tells us that the developer menu execution has started and will end with a report called Impact Analysis. In this report, GeneXus examines the impact caused by the new definitions made in the knowledge base. In addition, it indicates which additions or structural changes need to be made to the database. If we examine this report, we can see that a new table called Customer will be created. Also, that this table structure will have the following attributes. As we can see, GeneXus will also create an index by customer ID automatically. We will explain this concept later on. Since we agreed to have this table created with this definition in the database, we click on the Create button. So, GeneXus starts to create the necessary programs in order to create the customer table in the database with this structure. Next, GeneXus executes those programs. Why did it fail? Why does it show a reorganization error? In the output window, we were informed that the driver to connect to the database hasn't been found within the folder containing all the necessary files to run this application. We can solve this by copying it to the directory of this Java environment within the driver's folder. The driver is called ngdbc.jar. Where do we take it from? This file is usually included with the SAP HANA client. This is the installation guide. We have it here. Now we press F5 again and click on Create. And the customer table is created in the database. Next, GeneXus generates other programs. That is to say, all the necessary lines of code in the selected programming language, so that our application does what we want, which in this case is to enter customer details. Also, we're informed if the result was successful or if there were any errors or warnings. Here we can see the application running. Here's the customer transaction we created. We right-click on the link and choose to open it in another tab. This is a page that allows us to add, change, and delete customers. we enter the details of our first customer. This customer will be identified with number 1. His name is John. His last name is Smith. He lives on 5th Avenue. His phone number is 1111. And his email address is jsmith@hotmail.com. Now we click on Confirm. And a message is shown to inform us that the data has been successfully added. Meanwhile, the form is cleared and ready for us to enter another customer. So let's add the second customer. We identify her with number 2. Her name is Susan. Her last name is Brown. Her address is on 7th Avenue. Her phone number is 2222. And her email address is sbrown@gmail.com. We click on Confirm. And once again, a message is shown to inform us that the data has been successfully added. To look for John's details, we enter his customer number, 1, and press the Tab key. We can see that John's full details are displayed, and that from here, we could change some information, such as his phone number. Also, we could even delete customer John from the customer records using the Delete button. We can also use the upper section buttons to browse customers by going to the next, or the previous one, or the first one, or the last one. In addition, we can look for a specific customer using this window. This window is automatically created by GeneXus, and it corresponds to this object. Note that if we change the screen size, the controls are adjusted to the space available. What does this mean? GeneXus generates responsive web applications, or sensitive applications, which offer optimum viewing, good navigation, and excellent use of screen space. This is achieved with design features that allow viewing all the information on the screen using the functions provided by GeneXus to this end. These functions allow us to show different layouts depending on the screen size of the device. Now that we've seen everything that was automatically generated by GeneXus using the customer transaction that we've created, let's go back to the development environment.